As a woman, it takes me back to thinking, where do we come from as women, where we are, and where we headed? Because I think what we know is that as women, we've been oppressed and held back for the longest of time by the systems that are in themselves barriers to allowing women in terms of equal participation in all spheres of life. So I'm saying with the month of August, I'm yet to embrace it, and I'm hoping to see change. Gender equality is undeniably a fundamental human right, and you can't deny the fact that it actually holds the key to a successful, prosperous, and peaceful world across, and for us as a country, a better and successful South Africa. So one can't separate themselves from the personal issues, because if I were to think of myself as a girl child growing up in a family of 5, being brought up by parents who had daughters only and not a son, and my mom was reminded half the time how little of a woman she is because she could not bear a son. But she chose to embrace it and instill in us the principles that have actually brought us to this day era where the 3 of us are actually successful professional women, and you are definitely embracing it. So for me, I would think you would want to unpack the gender inequalities, and what stands on top of the list for me is poverty. Because if I think of that woman who's surrounded by poverty, that can have an impact on gender-based violence, and we know the era that we live in, the challenges that women face together with the children. So if you think of a woman who's surrounded by poverty, who may be subjected to gender-based violence for the mere fact that she has to be dependent on this male partner who is abusive, she ends up not having a voice. And for me, that really stands out, and we are saying this should be the end to it. And what falls next is education, because we know there's cultures and beliefs or religions that actually still believe women are not good enough for education. Here we are, we managed to strive through it all. I managed to pass my Bachelor of Science in Surgery, cum laude, and I'm proud to say it, as a woman, I made it. So education for women, we should be given an opportunity to make our life choices and not be limited by the fact that we are women. For me, decision making and power, I know exactly what it means being a woman. Because as a woman, you have to work extra hard to prove yourself that you're capable of a certain position. And we're saying this is the end to that, because we have women who are in these leadership positions, are capable and needs to be given the respect they deserve as equally as their male counterparts. So lastly, without taking us too much into the economy, because I think we are all abreast with what is currently happening. If you look at the ratio between male and female in leadership and powerful positions, we know the statistics undeniably. And I think for us as women, we're really looking forward to the era where we're saying this is the end, it ends here, and remembering not to leave the girl child behind. So we're really embracing the Women's Month to say with this theme, it can take us to where we want to get to. If I were to respond to that question, I would say the list is endless. For me, I want to personalize it and say, as women, we look back to where we come from, our childhood, what our aunts, our mothers and grandmothers had to endure when we look at these gender inequalities. And we see ourselves as women striving to better ourselves. And for me, education is the tool that is used by a lot of women in this country and across the world to say, how do we better our lives? Because we know what the gender inequalities has led to from our aunts, our grandmothers and mothers. And we really want to change that era. Because if I think of a professional woman who's in a position, there are still those inequalities. As a female doctor, I've had for many years had to work extra hard when you compare me to my male counterpart in the profession. And I think we all know this has been male dominated for the longest of time, and we really see the reverse of that currently happening. With those challenges that we face in the workplace on a day-to-day basis, for me, the picture is actually different, because the organization I work for cares for the well-being of the women Because if I can tell you, I'm not shy to say our CEO is female, our Chief of Party Executive Manager is female, we have 2 Deputy Chief of Parties who are females, and we have equally males in leadership positions. So this organization embraces gender equality. We are not even shy to say it loud. And for me, or for us as women in this organization, we actually get encouraged or we're inspired by these females who are in these leadership positions. With that being said, we are here to say to our male counterparts, we are women, we nurture. All we ask is that you embrace us. We are here to form unions. And the reason I'm saying it is because I know a lot of women who are facing challenges in intimate relationships. If you're a professional female in a powerful or leadership position, it tends to have negative impact in terms of the running of your intimate relationships. So for men, I think it's just to say we are here as women in these relationships. We will still give you the respect you deserve and say to you, we're here to build this union and let's move it forward. We are blessed to work in a sector that empowers us to make a difference in the lives of others. And I think for me, that is what gives me the motivation. And I love my work. I love the job I do. As an organization, Anova Health Institute, we are not shy to say we are here to better the lives of patients and people living with HIV and TB. And for me, that is my passion. I've always had a passion to work with children, and this space is actually allowing me to let that happen. And it definitely brings out the best in me. And this is coupled by having a manager who's a female, who's actually able to push me to my limits, appreciates me for the professional I am, appreciates my hard work, and ensures that I do my utmost best at all times. And I think what I try to do with the passion and the hard work that I give in the organization, I see this being contagious to some of the team members, and really that is what motivates me every day in the work that I do. I spoke about self-love, and I actually realized we still have women who lack the understanding and the know-how of the power of loving oneself. It actually helps you boost confidence. It helps you believe in yourself more, know your capabilities, and not let the social norms cloud your decision making. So if we could have women having the thought processes aligned for me with this, it could take them far. As a final thought, we continue to embrace Women's Month, and I would really like to see women believe they're actually stronger than they think they are. And I think this is where I would end it.